Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all over the world. Dobson 777A here. So, a couple days ago, I presented this chart and I was suggesting that when the Treasury yield hits this line right here that's running up this way, that it very likely would indicate that it's going to reverse and that we're potentially going to see precious metals take off. It's actually a very complex thing. All these, not only just interest rates, but what other opportunities are there out there? Like in 2012, what the opportunity of a lifetime was real estate, and so everybody bailed out of the precious metals and went that way. What other opportunities do we have right now? Inflation and other things are starting to look like there's an issue. So let's look at some of this. So today there was a report, dollar dump sparks bid for bonds, bullion, Bitcoin, and big tech. But here's the dollar. Here's what silver looked like. It's had multiple up days. And then global food prices have had a very significant increase. We've been monitoring this, and we're starting to hit a major high since 2014. We're continuing on a very high track here that is going to be a problem for a lot of families. So they talk about S&P 500 price to sales ratio is going ballistic here, as well as U.S. equity market capitalization compared to GDP is out of whack. So all this is indicating nosebleed territory. Now I went to macro trends and I found an updated chart. Last time I was telling you that I didn't feel like that chart went far enough back, so I've got one now that goes back prior to even 1980. And so you can see this wedge formation starting at the earliest stages, and then I've added my little stair steps as we go. And then I also added in some gold prices where it was approaching this bottom line, and I wanted to see what it looked like to see if there was a fairly good trend so that we could maybe use this as a predictor. But again, it's very complex, so it doesn't work perfectly. In fact, you can see we had a pretty good high back here of 998 for gold. 8 years later, it's gold is 657, but then 12 years later, it's at 734, and then you can see we hit 2,000 in 2020, June of 2020. So there's a pretty good chance, as we were talking the other day, 4 days ago, I think 3 or 4 days ago, that we're potentially going to see 2,200 here when this thing comes back to this line. So I put the 1% yield right here at this point. As soon as start falling below this, and we start looking at the fees at banks and everything else, you're going to see that gold, silver, platinum, all this is going to take a pretty good bid. Now, since my report 3 days ago, gold was sitting at like 728, I think, and silver was sitting at 25. So you can see we've gone up like 25 bucks roughly for gold, and we've gone up a half a dollar for silver. And I went ahead and overlaid these since that date, and we can see that TLT is up only 0.4%, which is the 20-year bond. Platinum is up 1.38, gold is 1.45, and silver is 1.58. So we've got a little bit of a bid here going on. So what happened with the miners? I haven't shown this in a while, mostly because we haven't been doing much, but I thought we ought to kind of go through this. So over here, gold is down 7.76 for the year, and this is the ETF gold. Silver is down 3.94, but platinum is up 14.5% for the year. Residential real estate, surprise, is up 13.48. Rents are through the roof. Real estate's doing fantastic for rent, residential that is. Forget commercial. I wouldn't be touching commercial. Okay, when we go up here now, today we were up 3% for our simple ETF miner portfolio, but we're down 6.28 for the year. The improved portfolio was up 3.12 today, but it's only down 2.82 for the year. First Majestic silver miner is up 30%. SBSW is killing it this year, 17%. But you can see our royalty companies are doing very well. 6% for the year, 4% for Royal Gold, so Franco-Nevada, Royal Gold, Wheaton Precious Metals, Sand, MMX. So those are where we're at right now. My portfolio is up 4% and 31% since it started, not for the year. John's portfolio is up 4.92 and 18.38. So anyways, that's doing fantastic. And this was another interesting article on Zero Hedge by oilprice.com, and Rio Tinto has, I guess they have a whole bunch of waste piles from 90 years of mining at one of their particular locations, and they've found a way that they can actually pull out lithium. And so they've done we'll call it like a trial. They've spent like $10 million to evaluate how efficient and whether it can be profitable or not. But they are thinking they can get enough for about 15,000 Model S Tesla batteries a year, apparently. So right now they've invested $10 million, and if the feasibility looks good, they'll probably put $50 million. And there's another company here, Lithium Americas, that's trying to get 20,000 tons a year and operational by 2023. So that's kind of an interesting thing for Rio Tinto. I think it's good to be diversified, like we saw with SBSW. Now, I've been working on my garden, and so I've got some videos that follow here, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, I just spent part of the day starting some of my seeds. If you remember last year, I've got this really nice greenhouse that I've outfitted, and you can see I've filled up a bunch of trays with soil, and I've got some more up here. Each one of these trays holds 36 plants, and you can see what I'll do is I'll start them and I'll put the plastic cover on as to help germinate, and it takes 7 to 14 days, and then after they germinate I move them over to the other side over here. So right now I can do 7 trays at a time, whatever 7 times 36 is, that's how many plants. I primarily have started 3 trays of different kinds of lettuce, and then I have 4 trays of marigolds right now that I've started. Everything else, it's a little too early. So this will kill a couple weeks getting this going, and I just got to come out here every once in a while and just keep that soil damp. I've also got heat mats, and if you notice, it's a little complicated up here, but I have a controller on there which will kick on, control the heat mats as well as the heat lamp. If the temperature drops below a certain temperature, the heat lamp and those heat mats will come on. So right now I got to remember to come out here in the evening when I'm putting up the chickens and close these doors up to maintain the heat. But you can see we're over 100 degrees in here right now. It's been very warm today, so this was a good chance to kind of get things started. So I've got all kinds of trays ready for planting. All right, I thought I'd come out to my greenhouse and make a little video, but this rooster is making a racket. He's a beautiful bird though. Look at that thing. He's a little bit over a couple years old now. And you can see, in fact, his spurs. I don't know if you can get a view of this. He's got a pretty good sized spur on that bottom down there. It's hard to see in the sun here. Yeah, there's a good old spur right there. Okay, this is 1 week later. This is some wildflowers in these first couple trays here. And you can see they're doing fantastic. And all I've got are these heat mats that I have on a temperature controller. So they turn on and off depending on what the temperature is in the room here. But you can see, and down here I got marigolds. Planted quite a few in here. Looks like it's a little bit overkilled, but maybe this is the marigold one. I didn't mark them, so shame on me for doing that, but this is a fantastic setup. And I've got a heat lamp in here to kind of keep it warm in the colder night. I'm going to bring an extra heat lamp because it's going to get down to 37 tonight. But what I wanted to do is come out here. I use these plastic covers. I want to come down here and add a little bit more water to each of these trays because it's been several days. They actually look very damp still, but I'm going to go ahead and keep them to where they're fine, completely damp, till these are all germinated. But this is looking really nice. Alright, let's get on with the show. Okay, things are now almost another week into growing inside my greenhouse. And
I've got 3 beds of lettuce right here, or 3 trays I should say. And then I've got some flowers, and these are marigolds right here. But these are all kinds of other wildflowers, and you can see I've kind of got some of these pretty damn close spaced together, so I'm going to have to come in and maybe spread these out. But I'm going to go plant these in the garden as some pollinators. But the lettuce is ready to go. Actually, I need to get that in the garden quickly. And you can see I should have been using my little seed thing. You better back up. You're not coming in here. I've got a little seed dispenser that's you can do a little better job of, I just kind of sprinkled a pretty good sized bag across here. But anyways, this is doing good. It's already like 9 o'clock in the morning, and you can see I'm at 95 degrees, so I just opened up the door. For some reason the heater's still on, but it's going to be a really hot day, so I got to get going for my day. But I wanted to come in here and get the covers off. There's no need to have the little plastic covers on anymore. So this is a graduation. I'm going to get these over on the shelves over here now. They're going to go on this side, and then I'm going to start some more seeds. So that's 2 weeks to get going, and it's looking really good. So the lettuce is ready to go in the ground. Okay, so I'm starting to get some cabbage heads. I probably need to come in and pick the few that actually bulbed out. I got 2 of them here. The rest of these are actually starting to bolt, so I'm not going to get anything else. Just got too warm too fast. And then this is my collards, and those are bolting, so I got to pick all the leaves, and they're finished for the year now. Just got too warm too fast. My onions, I fertilized them the other day, and this is when they really start taking off. They're going to start bulbing here and exploding. Here's my Egyptian walking onions. They always look really good. And then over here, it's actually coming together. My celery is starting to grow up. Looks great. So we'll see how that does. First time I ever grew celery. So here's my lettuce that I started in the greenhouse in these trays, and we just filled up a whole bed. These are actually too many seed in one spot, but we'll see how it works out. I think these will come out fantastic. Again, a little late getting the lettuce out, but it should do fine. I wanted to show you my raspberries are all coming out. They look great. And then this is my garlic. Garlic's doing fantastic. And then over here is another set of onions that are doing great as well. I'll have to get down and show you my blueberries and fruit trees and everything. They're looking fantastic. All right, here we are Sunday morning, and you can see my flowers I started in these grow trays are actually doing very well. I went ahead and filled out the rest of my trays, so I've got these are tomatoes right here, and then this is a bell pepper, jalapeno, eggplant, and then over here I have a couple things of cilantro because I make a lot of salsa with the tomatoes. And I got cucumber, cantaloupe, summer squash, and zucchini. And I've still got all kinds of other packets here that I'm going to do. But I noticed that I've already got a beefsteak tomato that's popped up here. And one of these trays, I can't remember which one it was. I was short a couple, so I got to wait till these sprout to know which 2 positions I got to fill back in. But anyways, this has only been a few days, so this is encouraging. This is the time to plant the things to get ready for summer crops, so that's what I'm doing now. I forgot to do a video of my fruit trees and the blooms on them. They're already getting leaves and everything, but I've still got a few blooms left. But I've got apples, peaches, pears, plums growing here, and my blackberries down here are looking good. I need to get some trellises to grow them up higher, but you can see some blooms right there. And then these are my blueberries, and they're full of blooms there as well. This hill I got to get in here and weed, but we're about ready to plant a whole bunch of sweet potatoes on the bottom part. I planted red potatoes on the upper part. Now this is cherry bushes here. These are miniature cherry, and they are just loaded with blooms. This is about the 3rd year. So I'm hoping that they do very well this year. I would love to have some cherries. I probably should have pruned them, but I'll wait till after we get some fruit and everything, and then prune them up. So I've been cleaning out some of my beds. We took a whole bunch of okra. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said okra. Took a whole bunch of collards out the other day, and it was way more than I could eat. So I took about 1/3 of them, cooked them up, and I took the other 2/3 and gave them to one of my tenants. I bet you we had about 12 pounds of okra when we were done. All my plants in my garden for like bulbs and flowering things, they're all starting to wake up now. So that's encouraging. Right now it's end of March. In fact, tomorrow's my birthday. So this is a good time of year when I start seeing everything waking up. I got a lot of weeding to do, but I've actually done a really good job this year keeping up. These are the beds that are more my summer beds. So I got to get in here, weed these, and start getting them ready. There's a whole bunch of herbs here. And then this is my asparagus. So I've got to get this bed completely weeded out and ready to go. And then this is where I usually plant a bunch of squash or cantaloupes or something like that. So anyways, I'm getting there a little bit at a time. All right, here's 1/3 of the collards that just cleaned and stripped the stems out and cut them into pieces. I got 2 fairly large size bowls. And I've got some water boiling here with some onion and some onion tips that I put in there. And then also chicken bouillon cubes. I got to look up the recipe because I can't remember if I'm supposed to put some vinegar or something in here too. But in any event, this is about ready to go. Now this is 1/3 of my collards I pulled out. And this is going to make a bunch for a couple people here. But I'm donating the other 2/3 to one of my tenants who's having some hard times. So don't let anything go to waste.
I hope everybody's treating you well. I hope you're doing well. Do the best you can. God bless.
All right, go potty. We gonna go bye-bye? Are we gonna go bye-bye? Here we go bye-bye. We gonna go bye-bye? Yeah, all right. You going to get in the car? We're not quite ready. I'm almost ready. You almost ready? Okay.